We're going to talk about how we think about ourselves and how we think about ourselves with caring about what other people think. Yeah. Since the film industry is such a social business, we often want to control or impact or change or influence what other people think. But in the process of doing that, it actually costs us. It costs us our own ability to look at what we think and determine how we're going to show up. So we want to kind of give ourselves that superpower back by putting a focus on it. And I want to start off by asking you, who are the people that you care about what they think? It's very good to get a clear idea of the people that you do care about what they think. So this would be your mom, your dad, maybe, your grandma. Who do you care about? So let's start right off the bat, because oftentimes we're like, well, people are like, oh, well, I care about what everybody thinks. Everybody. Well, then if it's everybody, then you're just trying to people please out there, and you're just trying to please everybody. Well, what do you want? What's important to you? So that's why it's really great to just take a moment, because we don't often get a chance to think about this stuff, and write down whose opinion do we actually really care about. Here's something that you might want to consider. If you would not go to that person for advice, then you may not care that much about if they criticize you. Growing up, my uncle and my aunt that was the rich side of the family. My family was always the poor side of the family. And they were always the confident side of the family, and they kind of picked on my family. So we all had low self-esteem as a family and as individuals, and we put them up on a pedestal. Notice how I'm always like, putting people up on a pedestal. Don't put people up on a pedestal. But it's all about the way that we're thinking about it. That's what it always is, and this is what's so good about it. When you put people up on a pedestal that you might meet on set, or producers or directors, whatever, it impacts your communication with them, and it impacts your own ability to think and decide who you are. And that is the most important thing, is your voice, your ideas, you're being conscious of the way that you're thinking so that you show up the way that you want. But the wonderful thing is having the awareness of it now. It's like, oh, okay, I don't have to be running around having these thoughts, worrying about it, watching my mind. Now I have some control over it. Okay, so would I go to my aunt and uncle for advice? No. Absolutely not. My aunt has since died, and my uncle, I don't even talk to him. I mean, he doesn't want to talk to me. He thinks that I would be just like nothing. Now, part of my life probably was spent proving him wrong. Like, no, I'm not just a dumb urban. I'm going to go out there and do stuff. It could have been part of and I think it was, part of my motivation to like, oh, I'll show you. But that motivation comes from a place of fear, comes from a place of pain, and that has a different feeling, and you have different levels of consciousness when you're trying to overcome pain versus create something amazing. Starting to feed your mind on what you want to create, and then feeding your mind of all of the evidence why you can create that, and why it's worth creating that, and why you want that to become part of who you are, and that it's actually happening. That is very powerful. And that feeds upon itself. Notice that the away from motivation, oh, I want to get away from the copier job. I got to become a filmmaker, otherwise my life is going to be shit. What does that produce? More thoughts like that. Like, oh shit, did that person like me? Because now they may not hire me. Well, if I don't make it as a filmmaker, my life is going to be crap. I have to make it as a filmmaker. So it's not producing those kind of thoughts that are going to allow you to be able to create, to have your own bag, to love yourself, right? Sometimes pursuing what you want to do, your dream, will lead you to what is your true dream, which is just like, oh, this is a slam dunk for me. And you'll be so grateful. But you won't know what is going to be the slam dunk until you get into it and go like, this works. This just clicks. I could do this all day long. A lot of times we're like, oh, I'm so afraid that I'm going to fail. I'm so afraid I'm not going to get anywhere in the film industry. Nothing's going to happen. Well, now you're starting this program. You haven't done it yet. So you're already at the base point. So you're already at the place of, like, if you want to look at it this way, if you're just starting, you're already at the place of failure, right? And the only place up going is up. So you're already at the worst place. The only way up now is up. So funny. Our brains are afraid of the fear. They take the negative emotion and they put more stuff on top of it and add misery to it. Like, and you might even find that you describe the fear in so good, like devastating terms. Well, that's just compounding it. And that's what we don't want to do either. So we want to be able to be the CEO of our careers and at the same time feel all the emotions. And when you feel it, you're not going to amplify it and put all these descriptive words on it, because why? All that's doing, that gets you in the churn and mixing it all together. You know what I mean? We talk about negative emotion because that's what stops us a lot. And because we notice it a lot. Positive emotion, we're like, oh, I'm so happy. And then, wait a second. Isn't there something I should be worried about? So we just want to be conscious of it all, noticing it all, and generate thoughts consciously. Back to caring about what other people think. Now you wrote down the people that you actually care about what they think. Remember, when you look at the self-coaching model, you are the circumstance, the C line, in other people's model. And they are the circumstance in your model. And then they are the circumstance, so like me, I'm the circumstance in your model, Janet. Then you have your thoughts about Janet. I hate it when people talk about themselves like that. Thoughts about me, Janet. I'm the circumstance. Because I'm not in your head, you're having thoughts, right? So you have your model. That's all you have is that's what you have, is your interpretation of the world. I am a circumstance. You have thoughts about me. The thoughts produce how you feel. I don't feel your feelings. You feel your feelings. And from your feelings, you're taking actions out there. And then that produces your result. The result of your relationship with me, the result of whether you do, follow this program or do this program or like me. I don't know. Depends on your thoughts. But I think it's kind of useful to write down and realize you are the circumstance in other people's models. And they will have their thoughts and they will have their feelings about you. You can't change their thoughts and feelings. Don't try to change it. That they are adults. They have chosen their lives. And we often want to change other people, like our significant others, but we can't. They are adults. They are living their own lives. We can cohabitate together and enjoy each other for the brief amount of time that we have here on this earth and celebrate each other. That's a healthy relationship. They don't try to control them or protect them. I can talk about this because I did that a lot with Joe. Try to protect him and control him and all that stuff, and then they just fight back. So I know that I control my own thoughts and feelings, or I'm the one in charge of my own thoughts and feelings about him, about the relationship, about my career, about all my businesses, everything. Do you want to care about what the people that you wrote down, do you want to care about what they think? Probably, right? Yeah, okay. Now, if so, do you like the reason? I might say, my uncle. Do I care about what he thinks? Well, actually, the answer is no. But say I said that it was yes, back in my high school years, I would say yes. And then if I asked myself, do I like that reason? I would say, no. I just want him to think I'm going to be successful because he thinks I'm such a screw-up. And I'd be like, I don't like that reason. And then I might change my answer to, do I care what he thinks? No. That would really free me up. Because so much thoughts can be taken up in your brain trying to please or impress somebody that you don't really care what they think. you probably shouldn't care what they think because you never thought it through. So it's helpful to write down who you care, what you think, what they think about you, and why those people are, what they think is important to you. So the important thing here is to keep coming back to the things that you have decided to believe about yourself on purpose. Keep coming back on purpose to those things and review them again and again. This is what you believe about yourself. When you are churning and worrying at night, catch yourself and go, oh, there, I'm doing it again. And what I wrote down was that I got my own back. I got this. If somebody says, you're delusional, you say, okay, well, I'm going to get a lot further being delusional than I will be crumbled in a crumbled ball on the ground. People that are, hey, we're artists. We're all a little bit like, hey, we're idea people. It's not supposed to work. This movie was never supposed to have gotten made. You were never supposed to have gotten that role. Whatever. Right. And the impossible happens. Because we're focusing on it. We're creating it. We're doing it. We believe it. Belief. As we take actions, we get to decide our thoughts and our feelings as we're out there taking actions. That's the beautiful thing. This gives us so much power. As you're doing the modules, as you're watching the videos, as you're implementing, like, holy shit, I'm researching, I'm sending that email, I'm doing this now. As you're doing this, now you can be conscious of what's going on in your brain. Instead of going, oh, I hope this works, holy shit. Then you go to bed and you churn on it. Oh my God, what did I do? Is it going to work? Is this going to happen fast enough? Is this working? You're just churning on it. Whatever action you're taking. Unintentional would be like, I'm just going to go there and I'm not having a good day, so don't bother me and leave me alone. Unintentional. Intentional is like, I'm going to go to work now. And how do I want to be feeling? Okay. Grateful. I want to feel grateful. I actually want to feel grateful because sometimes we have to make ourselves do this, right? Sometimes we just want to be pissed off. So if we want to be pissed off, allow it. Remember, life is 50-50. We're not always supposed to be happy going to work. We're not always supposed to be happy about the way a conversation went, right? Or something our parents are going through or whatever. So we allow pissed off. We allow it. We breathe through it. We feel it. We allow it. That's like a gift to ourselves. Very powerful. And then we're like, okay, I'm going to work now. How do I want to feel? I want to feel grateful. I want to intentionally create this experience. Feeling grateful, what do I need to think in order to feel grateful? Happy to have a job. This is all part of the plan. I'm just creating some thoughts here. This is all part of my plan. This money helps me go further. I'm going to learn something today. I'm going to make somebody smile. I love managing my mind because I know that it's really important. I get to practice managing my mind. These are all thoughts. And then you go to work in a completely different place. You manage your mind. And the outcome of, then you're taking action from the feeling of grateful. And from that, you get the result of like, holy shit, that was an amazing day. I was grateful. I had a very grateful day. I can't believe what happened today. All from starting with the thought that gave me the feeling, and that's how I took the action, and then that gave me the amazing result. So that's what we want to, that's the magic of having our own back. And therefore, it's going to go my way. Well, it's going to go the way that I think it's going to go. You might not get, if you go to the audition, you might not get the audition, but you're going to give a good audition. Action, auditioning. Thought could be, we've explored this one, I'm going to suck. Suck gives you a feeling of fear. You take the action of auditioning, and in the mind, you're like, did that suck? Am I doing that right? And then the result is, you kind of sucked. But you made yourself suck. You made yourself suck. Or, I'm going to have fun. This is what I'm born to do. And I love this one. Let the chips fall where they may. I just love that because it's just kind of like, let's see what happens. You know, it's not, none of it's so serious. Let me just try it. I'm grateful to have the opportunity to practice. So let me do this. Let the chips fall where they may. Feeling of freedom. You do that audition from a place of freedom. And then the result is that the chips, they fell pretty good. I figure what's near and dear to me is going to be near and dear to you. I think, I hope, I want it to be. I just realize that some of the things that I have been learning and causing me pain, not that I'm trying to escape pain, but things that life causes pain, is important for us to talk about, because nothing's gone wrong with the pain and the difficulty and the rejection. We're not trying to get away from doubt and rejection. We're not trying to. We're just allowing ourselves to feel it, because it is part of the human condition of doing something new that we've never done before, or just a human condition anyway. It just is. So we'll allow ourselves to feel it, and we're not going to run away from it. We'll feel it, and then we'll be CEO of our lives and go out there and do what we need to do, because we want that life. And we separate them.